as much as I have this year, especially. And I'm not even somebody that has allergies. Like, I'm not allergic to anything. Again, happy superiority. But the whole thing is, and you know what? Maybe we should just take this as an opportunity to continue what we were talking about. But do you guys understand? If you look up uh, chemtrails on the Google machine, right? The first thing that's going to come up is chemtrail conspiracy theory. Okay? And the first thing the chemtrail conspiracy theory page says, oh, look at this. I forgot to even notice this. Look. Chemtrail conspiracy theory is all locked up. There's no editing this page now, is there? But it says the chemtrail conspiracy theory is the erroneous belief, erroneous, that long-lasting condensation trails left in the sky by high-flying aircraft are actually chemtrails, consisting of chemical or biological agents sprayed for nefarious purposes undisclosed to the general public. Believers in this conspiracy theory say that while normal contrails dissipate relatively quickly, which they do, contrails that linger must contain additional substances. Well, let's just think about it.
Plus one.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Let's just think about it from a logical, like reasonable perspective. If it does this all the time, and then sometimes it does this, but it does this consistently sometimes, don't you think there'd be a reason why it would do this sometimes consistently?
Science's job is to find out what that variable is.
Right. Human job is to find, and that's you should be drawn to that just naturally. You should be drawn to, hey, why are the planes at certain times of the day leaving huge streaks in the sky, especially seemingly around lunchtime and around when the kids get out of school? Why is that? Why does it always seemingly pick back up, right? So it says those who subscribe to the theory speculate that the purposes of the chemical release may be. Now, this is the third sentence. Solar radiation management is the first thing it says. Weather modification, psychological manipulation, human population control, biological or chemical warfare, or testing of biological or chemical agents upon the population. You know, like the Tuskegee shits. And that the trails are causing respiratory illnesses and other health problems. You know, like RSV, that new thing that just sort of showed up a few years ago. But my wife was saying, like, she's so super mucusy lately, and like her pussy is just leaving trails as she walks and shit. But it's the same for me. Like, I'm not somebody that's constantly blowing my nose. And all the look at that guy, he's on drugs. Like, if you think the guy blowing his nose all the time is doing drugs, then you don't know how to do drugs. That's not how snorting drugs works. You don't snort it up so you can blow it back out. You actually do everything you can to not blow the stuff out. Oh, today's good day brought $20, Trump. Today's a good day bought $20 Trump when it first launched, then cashed out at 30,000 profit. Yet you are here still having a competition selling baseball cards for an income. Is that what I'm doing? Says the Orman Begs Ministry. Orman Begs Ministry. A ministry is coming here to brag about making money off of, I don't even know what. Bought $20 Trump when it first launched. What does that even mean? And can you imagine? Let's just say it was real. Let's just say this ministry was real and really did make $30,000 just off of this one thing. Don't you think? Like, can you imagine? You're so business minded and you're so good and you're so making so much money that it's Sunday morning and you're like, I'm gonna go on that feed that I always go on.
Don't you have mass to preach to? It's Sunday.
Right. But you're gonna come like the feed you go on all the time because you're mad at the guy that's talking about these crazy conspiracy theories. Because I mean, again, look at me reading the crazy conspiracy theories. This is me. This is my shit. I made this up. I made this Wikipedia page that nobody can edit. Right? I did that. I'm fucking good like that. So back to the thing. So the first paragraph is just three really long sentences. And they basically say it's the erroneous conspiracy theory, the erroneous idea that they are using aerosols, they are spraying chemical agents into the sky for things like solar radiation management. The first one, solar radiation management. Solar radiation is a group of large-scale approaches to limit global warming by increasing the amount of sunlight that is reflected away from the Earth and back into space. Among the potential approaches, stratospheric aerosol injection is the most studied, followed by marine cloud brightening. Well, that's the first sentence. So, stratospheric aerosol injection, let's just read what that says, is a proposed method of solar geoengineering to reduce global warming. This would introduce aerosols into the stratosphere to create a cooling effect via global dimming and increase albedo, which occurs naturally during from volcanic winter. It appears that stratospheric aerosol injection at a moderate intensity could counter most changes to temperature and precipitation, take effect rapidly, have low direct implementation cost, and be reversible in its direct climactic effects. And blah blah blah. This is more shit. But so are we? So that's stratospheric aerosol injection. Proposed methods. Various forms of sulfur were proposed as the injected substance, as is in part how volcanic eruptions cool the planet. Precursor gases such as sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide have been considered, but that's not how delivery. Here we go. Various techniques have been proposed for delivering the aerosol precursor gases. The required altitude to enter the stratosphere is the height of the tropopause, which varies from 6.8 miles, 36,000 feet at the poles, to 58,000 feet at the equator. Gotcha. Civilian aircraft, including Boeing 747-400 and Gulfstream G55 or G550 and 650, and C-37A could be modified at relatively low cost to deliver sufficient amounts of material, according to one study. But a later mega study suggests a new aircraft would be needed, but easily developed. Huh. So they're literally talking about uh, spraying chemicals into the sky via airplanes. Huh. But wait. Let's look at this next one. Stratospheric aerosol injection is the most studied, followed by marine cloud brightening. It's marine cloud brightening, also known as marine cloud seeding. That's weird. As a proposed solar radiation management technique that could make clouds brighter, reflecting a small fraction of incoming sunlight back into space in order to offset global warming. Along with stratospheric aerosol injection, it is one of the two solar radiation management methods that may most feasibly have substantial climate impact. The intention is that increasing the Earth's albedo in combination with greenhouse gas emissions reduction would reduce climate change and its risk to the people and the environment. If implemented, the cooling effect is expected to be felt rapidly and to be reversible on fairly short timescales. However, technical barriers remain to large-scale marine cloud brightening. There are also risks with such modification of complex climate systems. So, the first thing it said was also known as marine cloud seeding, right? So, what do you think cloud seeding is? Cloud seeding is a type of weather modification that aims to change the amount or type of precipitation, mitigate hail, or disperse fog. The usual objective is to increase rain or snow, either for its own sake or to prevent precipitation from occurring in days afterward. Like if you want to have a sporting event or something like that, and you don't want it to be, raining on that day, well, let's make it rain today. You know, because that makes sense. Cloud seeding is undertaken by dispersing substances into the air that could serve as cloud condensation or ice nuclei. Common agents include silver iodide, potassium iodide, and dry ice, with hygroscopic materials like table salt gaining popularity due to their ability to attract moisture. I wonder if all these people that have all this eczema now out of the blue, their skin is all dried out and nasty. I wonder if it has to do with all the salt that's being sprayed on them. No, no, come on. What do y'all think of the egg UFO on the News Nation last night? Egg UFO? Did you hear about the egg UFO, sweetheart? I think it's a bunch of drones fucking with us now. So it's kind of like, where do you stand in it all? Because to me, it's all really obvious. As soon as it just dawns on you. I don't know. You don't understand that? Let's see. Egg UFO. Whistleblower says he recovered egg-shaped craft. All right, let's see. News Nation.
So there was another object. There's two objects that I'm here to talk about. One was the egg. The other is what we called an egg.
What do you think about this guy? What would you say?
Essentially a flying disc.
What's your first impression of this guy?
Delineated sections when looking down, and I can tell you what it looked like from looking down.
He looks a little chosen, doesn't he?
Because I'm a helicopter pilot. We did recoveries with the egg.
If you knew he was chosen, if you found out he was, would you be like, "Oh, I am shocked"?
I wouldn't be shocked, but that wouldn't be
Simply seeing a non-human craft up close would be an intense experience in itself. But Barber says, as he prepares to transport that so-called
we're talking
to the drop site, something even
a military whistleblower, but there's literally no footage of anything.
It was since that night.
Are you fucking kidding me? You have me fucking looking at some bullshit like this? Come on. Oh, come on. Right there. God damn it. Exactly. Suddenly you have this whistleblower who's coming out. Oh, yeah, I saw some shit too. No, I totally did. I saw it. Could I be interviewed by the Nation? Like, if I claimed if I was like, you guys came in, I'm like, you guys, I saw a fucking UFO. Holy shit, it was amazing. It came down and shined a light on me. Blah, blah, blah. My neighbor across the street saw it too. Oh my god, this shit's crazy. Do you think anybody'd show up at my house to interview me? You think I'd be, picked up by any fucking? No, I don't have any video of it. I know, but no. How long do you think it would be before the national J media system would be all about me? I mean, I've been very openly proud of my anti-Semitism and all that for a really long time. Nobody seems to be coming by my house for that. Amanda Danielle used to swear up and down, Madison Star Moon, that the cops would come to her house and the FBI would come to her house because she was filming chemtrails, and you shouldn't be filming chemtrails. That's bad. Don't film it because it's bad. Never came to me, huh? Never came to my house. I've had them call me. I've had the police call me before, and I was like, yeah, okay. But they called me because of Roop Raj. If you guys want to troll somebody, go troll Roop Raj. Box 2, Detroit. Roop, Roopraj. He would love it. But you won't. You won't. What's up, G? I'd interview you. Sure you would. You should. Yep. Another crackhead. Yep, that's crackhead rants. Can you imagine, like, if smoking crack made people do this? I wonder how much different the world would be. People start smoking crack and they're like, oh man, I want to be a voracious reader and learn as much as I can about the way the world works and then pick it apart. That's usually what crackheads are doing. I get you. No, that's from all the movies and everything I've ever seen, all the stereotypes, all that shit. It's just, I appreciate you saying hello. I don't know how else to respond to it. I feel stupid when I talk like that. So that's all. Saying it in response. What's up, G? Back. Just feels foreign for me to say it. You say it all day. Okay. No judgment. Especially since my name starts with a G, it actually works out really well.
You are a bit of a gangster. Anyway.
I am too. I'm so gangster. That's how I got my wife. I was walking, my pants were all sagging. She was like,
chains dripping.
Right. She was like, damn. And I was like, yo, girl, let me holler at you. Yo, what's up, girl? Let me holler at you. Damn, girl, you look fine. That's a fat ass, girl. And she just melted.
Gets me every time.
It does. That gets everyone. That gets females all the time. That's how that works. So I went from being a nut job to interesting dude you kind of like. Whatever. Y'all speaking all proper and shit. Yeah. Well, in my situation, I intend to appeal to everyone and not give those looking for the reason their way out, right? I mean, I already look like this. So if I spoke in a way that, like, some, the people that we're trying to expose, the people at the top, the people we need to be behind us so that, the people with money and power that aren't in the umbrella, but they're under the umbrella, we need a lot of those people much higher than we are to start saying something and doing something. And if they're looking for a reason why I'm wrong and I say stupid shit, like all the people that spell you're wrong and they're wrong and they use the wrong twos and all that shit. If you're trying to show people how intelligent you are, you can't be lazy about it and just expect them not to people will always, if you give them the way out, they'll take it. Like I had this happen to me today. So somebody I've known for a while on Facebook, her name's Claire. She posted this video of this old woman in a tie-dye shirt running on a treadmill, and it just slowly gets faster and faster, and you can see her sort of freak out, and then she falls real hard and biffs and hurts herself. And she was like, this is my laugh for the day or something. And I commented, what's funny about this? And that's all I comment. Now, if I was really wrong, she would have either A, ignored me, or B, been like, are you kidding me? Come on, that's funny, blah, blah, blah. So whatever. What she did was come to my page and scroll through my feed to find the thing up, like the not the last thing I posted or the thing, but like the third thing I posted ago, something like that, where I said, if you delete my comment, if you delete my comment on your thing calling you out, you're basically acknowledging I'm right, or something like that. And it's funny that now that I think about it, it's funny that that's the thing she decided to. But she came on that feed and was like, you need to stop being so angry all the time, or some shit like that. And I was like, isn't that amazing how instead of you explaining what the funny was or ignoring it, and this is somebody who would normally send me messages instead, like doesn't tend to communicate back and forth in the comments. I said, isn't it funny how instead of commenting on the thing that I said or anything like that, you come to my feed looking for something that you can now call me out on? Because I called you out, and I'm right. If I was wrong, you wouldn't care. If I commented on your thing like, you have rainbow hair and you're 22 feet tall, you'd be like, what are you talking about, Goofy? And that'd be it. You wouldn't say anything. You wouldn't care. But me pointing out what a doofus you are and how shitty you are, you're laughing at somebody falling, an elderly person falling and getting hurt. Like, that's shitty. And she said something like, well, it's ironic how you Americans are so sensitive about blah, blah, where us Brits, we have a different sense of humor. And I'm just like, man, no, you're just being a douche. And instead of being like, you know what, you're kind of right, that was a douche thing to post, you're going to try to defend it. And you see that all the time on here. You see that where people will, argue their own narrative because they can't argue mine.
I don't care what country you're from. If you find it funny that an old person falls and hurts themselves, I don't like you.
Right. Right, it's shitty. I mean, I don't get it. And you don't even know how badly that person got hurt. That treadmill was going really fast, and she fell forward. So her face, I mean, the burn from the treadmill itself was probably pretty severe. But I mean, that's an old person. That's not funny.
No. Nothing funny about that.
Anytime, like, I hate videos where people get hurt. I don't know how that happened, but like the videos where, fail videos where somebody on a bike or a skateboard falls and cracks their head or something, like, that shit's never funny to me. I hate all those videos. I don't understand why we like watching other people. The thing about all those videos too is they always cut like immediately after the incident, because if you saw the aftermath, I don't know, maybe you'd feel a little worse. I don't know. You saw that person laying on the ground and shit, brains falling out. Maybe you wouldn't think it was as funny.
No, I mean, Faces of Death was huge. People like that gory ass, disgusting shit.
I know. There's something going on. And I think a lot of that comes from us not having an outlet for anger, an outlet for, like just the idea of two people who want to fight not being allowed to fight in a safe place where, nobody's going to be allowed to beat somebody, kick somebody, like all that. But still, like Ann says, we should never get to that point. We shouldn't, we should be able to verbally communicate. And if somebody has you to the point where you are ready to fight them, they've won the verbal exchange. Because you have gotten to that point where you're not functioning reasonably. No one's higher. No one's higher what? What does that even mean? It's stupid. Like, when we say shit like that, it's just more shit we're like programmed to say that doesn't make any sense. Lots of people are better than lots of other people. I consider myself a much better person than any cigarette smoker. Why? Because I'm not fucking smoking cigarettes. Are you crazy? Talk about making insurance payments go up, and talk about, you're especially if you're, insisting on smoking near me, you're fucking poisoning me. You're poisoning us. Who knows what those cigarettes are doing in real life? Well, they do. But if you're a cigarette smoker, you're a fucking bad person. What's wrong with you? That's like, you're somebody that drinks and fucking drives around. I don't care what your reasoning is. You're fucking wrong. You shouldn't be doing that shit. What's wrong with you? Yep, I sure am. I wish I didn't have to rant. I wish there was fucking intelligent questions and intelligent conversation coming back, but look at what you do. What am I going to sit here and keep addressing the dumb shit forever? It gets boring real quick. But as far as, better people go, like there are people that abuse animals. Hey, guess what? I'm a better person than you are. I'm a better person because I don't eat meat. That makes me better than you. You're contributing to mass murder, genocide. You don't need to. Like it's crazy. And as far as better people go, like, I'm better than every fucking J out there by miles. Miles. You're out there supporting this horrendous cult. It doesn't matter if you say, oh, no, I don't agree with what Israel's doing. It doesn't matter. It goes much deeper than Israel. You believe that I am a goyim. Why would I ever support that shit? Why would I ever support anything that has to do with you being superior to me based on your birth?
That's what you're supposed to believe about royalty.
It's the same shit. And a lot of the royalty is that. You just don't know. Sure you will, Mike. Good job, Mike. Not one of what people? Come on now. Let's use our big boy words. Absolutely, I'm a better person because I hate the Jays. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I'm honest. I can't imagine why do any of you not hate them? Give me a good reason why you don't. Is it because some of them are nice to you to your face? They all support terrorism. They all support genocide. They all support pedophilia. And you could say, oh, they say no. If they support that fucking cult, they support the worst of us. The worst of us. That shit is the worst example of our humanity. Wrapped up in a nice little fucking cult with tons of examples inside of it. Just say you hate the J government. Why? Why do you need me to say something that isn't accurate? Does it make you feel better if I say words in a certain order? Or like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why don't you just make a point? Why don't you tell me why I'm wrong? I keep waiting for somebody to tell me the good stuff that they bring. Still waiting for that list of good things that Israel does for the world. Good list of that list of good things that the Jays do for the world. Yeah. Well, if you're confused, then that's on you. Again, I think that's you're probably confused a lot. I don't think I'm being very confusing or I'm not mincing my words. I'm not. I think I'm being pretty direct. And I hate Christianity too. I just feel like Christians, a lot of them, at the end of the day, they have your best intentions in mind. They might be fucking stupid. They might be this. They might be that. But they still want you to be a part of their thing to save your soul because whatever kind of stupid shit they have going on. Because they've been tricked into thinking that way. Muslims, it's the same thing. They don't reject you. If you say, I want to be a Muslim, they're going to welcome you. But not the Jays. That's not how that works. Yep, I'm sure I remind you of your crazy ex-wife there, Mike. Okay. It's so interesting to me how people will say anything but what exactly I'm wrong about. You guys will talk about anything, but it's like, okay, well, cool. Yeah, I look like this, that, I'm crazy, whatever. Why don't you tell me what I'm exactly wrong about? Mr. Works a lot. Well, live life and enjoy it. Annie J's in your basement is not. Yep, I'm in the basement. In that 2-story basement. I sure love when people are dumb enough to say something, showing that they're dumb enough to say anything, right? When you say something so easily debunked because you're just winging it, it goes to show that instead of answering for things or whatever, you'll say anything, just to hopefully get a distraction going. You just proved what a clown you are. Along with your the opening part of the statement, which is why I should just live my life and enjoy it. Yep. Right. Says that troll who watches me for hours hating on the guy who thinks we should kill pedos and cut out the Jays. So you can go to sleep every night. You can live your life like you do, not giving a shit about things that don't happen to you. I get it. I know when it does happen to you or to your family, then you want everybody to pay attention and then everybody should do what I do for you. But because it doesn't affect you directly, you're like, man, I don't care about that. Which again shows the type of person you are because I am a better person than you. You get it? It doesn't have to involve me. I'm not Palestinian. I'm not Semitic in any way other than the whole family is African, and I guess for what we're told, I guess. But I don't have any sort of Middle Eastern connections or anything like that, and I don't need to. I see them committing genocide, and I'm appalled. I see that there's a huge pedo problem in this country, and it's really, really fucking obvious. And they are absolutely not just behind the inner workings of that, but the laws that all need to be changed regarding protecting these pieces of shit. Why would the laws need to be changed in the first place, other than it's the same pieces of shit that write the laws, too? It's if it's fulfilling to you to ignore the problems in the world unless they affect you directly, what can I say? You're a piece of shit, but you do you. I mean, why do you need my approval? Why do you need me to you know to validate your bullshit? If you want to live your life head in the sand until it comes fucking knocking at your door, go right ahead. Just don't expect that when you do, because you need the help now, that you're gonna not, that you're gonna get that help. Why would you? You're not willing to help other people, right? It's disgusting. And the reality is, it's going to come to your door. These Jays are a cancer, and they're spreading like crazy. From what I can tell, although it's kind of really hush hush, there are J settlements in the United States, up in like Pennsylvania and shit, where we think it's Amish and whatnot, but there's some J shit up there too. There are rich Jays that are buying large plots of land and then bringing in settlers from Israel to come get set up. They are colonizing. And they control our lives. Don't you understand? Like, we could all have much better lives. I hate paying for electricity. I hate paying for water. I hate that we have gas-powered automobiles that create a bunch of pollution. Like, it's so funny to me that they have you so distracted by the electric versus the gas-powered cars. And you're stupid anyway, because people will be like, look, there's a diesel generator over there powering up all those power stations. So you're like, so it's like one engine then powers multiple cars, hundreds, potentially thousands of cars can be powered off that one engine. And that's worse. But even still, there's a lot that goes into those cars that both sides that are just bullshit and unsustainable and blah, blah, blah. But even more so, a guy called Meyer, Meyer, invented a water-powered car a while ago. I'm not real familiar with the story, but I know there have been multiple times where people have invented cars that can run on water and other products, And the government ends up either buying up that technology, or that person suddenly mysteriously dies, and then all of their records and information suddenly disappears as well. And then if you're stupid enough to think the government, do you think the government found a way to make engines that run on water and didn't use that technology? They don't use that technology to this day. Do you know how stupid you have to be to think that they would just put shit away? They just get it and then they put it away. That's all it is. Islam is more of an issue here. Really? Really? How is Islam an issue? When have you ever been in danger from Islam? How does Islam control anything in your life? You fool. You absolute fool. You must be a white guy because you have that white racist American, perspective. But at the end of the day, Islam isn't shit. Islam isn't doing anything. Islam isn't committing genocide right now using your American tax dollars. Like, it's just insane to me. Show me the big movie studio run by Islam, by Muslims in Hollywood. Show me all those big studios and shit. Show me all the Muslims in the American government. Other than Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. The Squad. AOC included. The three women, of course they're women. The three women that they're the conveniently like patsies against Israel. But they can't get anything to go. They can't make anything happen. God, people are stupid. I want to talk about you, guy. I want to talk about you. Can we talk about you? I can't answer for anything you're talking about. You make my brain hurt. Stop. I don't like thinking like this. Come on. Islam has been positive for me. No, you have been positive for you. But as a male, I would imagine it's probably decent for you, especially compared to the females. But the thing about Islam is like you don't know any of it. Like you know what you're supposed to know, but you don't know where it comes from. You don't understand it's just another one of these J control schemes. You don't put it into perspective that everything you know is given to you. No. Every copy of the Quran ever found says the exact same thing that goes all the way back to the oldest copies ever found. Really? You know this? You know that there weren't other versions of the Quran found that were destroyed because they didn't say the same thing? You know that? You know how old those
That only happened in Christianity, not in Islam.
Right. You know that every time they say, well, this thing is 855 years old. This thing dates back, carbon dating dates this thing to the whole concept of like Islam having the same date as we do is just foolish anyway. How would you, how do they calculate all those dates? But I always ask people, like, why do you believe in that? Why do you think your thing is true? Because you probably think the other things are stupid. You probably think the other things are infidels, or like if you're a Christian, you think Muslims are stupid. If you're a Muslim, you think Christians are stupid. So why do you believe in your thing? We're typing, you're yapping, not fair. Oh, that's what it is. It's not fair. You don't have the advantage here, able to be anonymous, and like if you make me stumble, everybody's gonna see it. If it's not like I read things before I say them. I read them as they come up. So if you were saying something that debunked what I said, and I was like, oh, everybody would see it. You have all of the advantage here. You can sit there and come up with a really decent argument. I mean, obviously, you've come up with a whole bunch of other dumb shit to say. I don't understand why it's so different for someone to tell me what I'm wrong about than it is to tell me, my hair isn't right, or, I'm in the basement, or whatever it may be. Like, you can come up with all that kind of shit. You can even come up with the argument that I'm talking and you're trying to type and blah, blah. You can do all that, but the one thing you can't do is type out the argument as to why I'm wrong. That's spelled correctly and everything. So then I read it and I go, oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, shit. That's the one thing that can never be done. Gee, that's weird. That's not your religion, though. So what? You sell shit to those fools? That makes sense. They supporting being who is? All right. The Jays? The Jays are big on it. Like again, it's like everything that you think that you complain about, the Jays do it, the Christians do it. Like the fact that we have Mormons, Amish, Scientologists, that we have these little mini cults inside the United States where pedo stuff runs rampant. In the Mormon shit, the Mormons are ridiculously bad about the pedo stuff. So much so, like this is again crazy. The Jays make a TV show called Escaping Polygamy that was all about these girls trying to help other members of the cult escape the cult. Because if they try to escape without help, nobody they know will talk to them. All their money gets taken. Once they leave the cult, they're excommunicated. So their family's not allowed to talk to them. It becomes a really hard situation for them. And most of us just don't realize how difficult it would be if you were surrounded by a cult where everything was sort of organized and done and this, that, and then you're suddenly on your own. But they made a fucking TV show about escaping this cult. And that's just okay, huh? I sound like I need professional help. Again, based on which part? Is it the schizophrenia because I'm clearly talking to the voices in my head and looking out the window to see who's trying to get me? Is that what it is? Like, seriously, these bots say the same stupid things over and over again. And if you don't pick up on it, that's on you. There's a reason why it's the same statement every time, like word for word, space for space. There's a reason why they fuck up the same mistakes all the time. These are bots. Can we all agree religious extremists are the issue worldwide? No, not at all. No, it's not religious extremists. It's not the extremists that allow the church to continue to rape children and nobody does anything about it. You know, it's the average person. It's like Trump isn't the scary thing. It's the Trump supporters that scare me. It's the nation of blind faith idiots that scare me. With the church and the pedo stuff. The reason why the pedo stuff is so prominent in the church is because we allow them to get away with it because they're church people. It's not about extremists. You know, it's not the extremists that put Netanyahu, Bezalel Smotrich, Itmar Ben-Gvir, Avi Moaz, that coalition in charge in Israel. The people overwhelmingly did. And then it's the people over here that are overwhelmingly ignoring what's going on over there. These aren't religious extremists. This is the norm. This is the regular people. You know? It's the Jays that believe themselves superior across the board. It doesn't matter if they're the rich Jay or the poor Jay. They still believe themselves born superior to you because you're just a dumb goyim. I don't care how nice they might be to your face. Let's see. I would say child rape is pretty extreme. Yeah, but that's not religious extremists. You're talking about you're like mixing up your words. Religious extremists are people who do things like suicide bomb in the name of their religion. Just because you do extremely awful things and you happen to be religious doesn't make you a religious extremist. But this is like, see, look at how programmed we are, how basic. Like, your arguments are nothing, and I appreciate you saying them. But you notice how, like, you, again, it's not like I got to sit here and think about what I need to say before I say it. The response is immediate because the arguments are weak. You've been programmed to say really weak things and not even think about it, not realize, holy shit, I don't have a better argument than that. Why am I so complacent with all this when I don't have any better arguments? You know, this is the evidence is all around you. They're not going to come out and say it, just like they're not going to come out and be like, yes, we are Team Jorge or a version thereof from Israel trying to interfere with this guy's feed because we're terrified of him. And the last thing we need is this guy getting any sort of real platform. They're not going to say that shit. But like I said, if the people that are willing to troll me relentlessly day after day and just make up whatever nonsense they can, if they could argue something, like if I fuck something up, if I don't say something right, if I get some math wrong or I get a date wrong or something, a lot of the times they're going to jump all over it. When I got the artist wrong, they were too stupid to know that. When I was saying it was Michelangelo, or when I was saying it was Da Vinci, when it was Michelangelo that painted the Sistine Chapel, not one of you dumbass trolls caught that, which I thought was pretty funny. But, it shows you that, if they think they can, but you said this, like, if they could debunk me, if they could say something, they would. The fact that they don't, yet they say, like, if they say anything other than the debunk, they're acknowledging that I'm right. You're right, so I'm going to start talking about something else because I can't debunk what you're saying. Even though I'm here to interfere, I can't debunk it, so I'm going to try to interfere some other way. If I was talking about how great unicorn poop is and how it's the salvation for our humanity and blah, 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 I doubt they'd even be here. But if they were, they'd be addressing it. What are you talking about, unicorn poop? That's stupid, dude. You're stupid. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, no one cares that much about dirt. What are you talking about? Yeah, isn't that crazy? TikTok's gone. I forgot to say. Isn't that fucking nuts? They are. Why do you think that is? Like, the stated reason is because of people like me. Is because they don't want us communicating with each other about what's going on. It's the insecurity that, yeah, my insecurity? Okay, yeah. Sweetheart, apparently I'm super insecure.
That's because you have a super tiny micro penis.
That's true. It is. It's my micro penis. It must be that. I'm so insecure that I go live every day begging people to tell me what I'm wrong about. Because I think I'm right, but it's that, super insecure. Oh, I appreciate it, guys. I know I don't. I mean, I hate it so much. I hate it. Oh, I'm so insecure, and I. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yep, the nurse. Yep. Oh, God, not again. I love when people act like Facebook or YouTube makes them be here. Like, there's no other option. I have no other option. I opened up YouTube, and you were the only thing that was available to me. So stupid. Every fucking argument is stupid. It's the weirdest shit, man. I always feel like Mike Tyson in his prime. I feel like I'm just smashing these sparring partners. And I wish I could get a real challenge here, because this is just, it's too easy. Literally, not a single thing said do I have to go, you know what? I hadn't thought about that. Not a single thing said. And yet it's just weird. It's fucking weird. Oh, supposedly Chinese software and operating out of the country. That's the problem. The reaction is to go to Redfin or something like that, which is even worse. Right, because the Chinese software, the China virus. Can you imagine all the people that had their fucking lives on TikTok? All the people that had businesses and all that. Jesus Christ. You know how many people told me to go to TikTok over and over? You should go to TikTok. You should go to TikTok. God, I'm glad I didn't put a bunch of energy into that. But I'm sure these are next. YouTube next. Trump is going to change the ability for us to question things and challenge things. They don't like this. That someone like me terrifies them. Look at the effort they put into trying to dissuade you guys from from watching and sharing and liking and all that. They know they're not gonna fuck with me. I'm too arrogant. I'm too proud. I know I'm on the right path. There's nothing they're gonna do or say that's gonna make me go, oh yeah, maybe Israel is the good guy, and they know it. So instead of them trying to affect me, they've sort of given up. They've learned. They got their asses kicked, and they've learned. So what they do now is try to get you guys. They desperately try to get you guys to think that I'm wrong, to make me out to be the bad guy, the stupid guy, da da da. They want you to think I'm bad, something's wrong with me, so that when I start making sense, you know, you just police it manually. You do it yourself, you know. They don't have to. Well, I mean, they do have to. That's what they're doing. I'm sorry. But they're desperately, instead of debunking what I'm saying, they're just trying to get you to think I'm crazy. I mean, I'm literally reading you guys what they want you to read. And I'm so surprised. I didn't notice that the chemtrail page, chemtrail conspiracy theory page, was all locked up. I didn't realize that. But it's really an interesting connection, right? Because when they say that the chemtrail conspiracy theory, the first thing that it says is the erroneous conspiracy theory that aerosols are being sprayed from planes, and but then all you have to do is look into it. It took me 4 clicks on what. So they say that the conspiracy theory is that we think they're spraying stuff for methods like solar radiation management or weather control or whatever. That's the erroneous conspiracy theory. But all you have to do is click on solar radiation management, and it shows you aerosol injected, stratospheric aerosol injection, and cloud seeding. Cloud seeding is undertaken by dispersing substances into the air that serve as cloud condensation or ice nuclei. Techniques vary from static seeding, which encourages ice particle formation, to supercooled clouds to increase precipitation, to dynamic seeding, designed to enhance convective cloud development through the release of latent heat. So the history is really interesting. Because did you know that starting in the 50s, you have the beach used dry ice for cloud seeding in early post-war era U.S. Lockheed 18, cloud seeding from Wagga Airport in 1958, Australia. The T-28A Trojan Rainmaker, 1960. The Curtiss P-40 Rainmaker, 1964, now at the Yanks Air Museum, right here. This one. The Curtiss P-40N N1232N Weather Modification Company Cloud Seeder. Harvard Hail Defense, 1964. It's a whole fleet of them. Cessna 210, 2006, Austria. Look at that big old sprayer right on the fucking edge of the plane. You see that? The Cessna Skymaster 2015, and everybody's favorite, Israel. The Alpha Jet 2014 in Morocco. So you have to love how they have, like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different examples from at least 58 to 64, and 64 is a fleet. Then suddenly we jump from 64 to 2006. Guess there was no advancements being made back then, huh? But you have to understand, like, where's the one where they talk about I mean, the history of it. You want to know the history of it? In 1891, think about the world you think 1891 is. There's no power tools yet. The idea of, like, what a car was, what a bed was, I would have said a refrigerator, but they didn't have refrigeration back then. They had ice box, I guess. I want to know where they were getting dry ice from. You know what? Let's look that one up real quick before I forget. I want to know the history of dry ice. You know why? Because I'm fucking stupid like that. Dry ice. Dry ice means the solid form of carbon dioxide. It is commonly used for temporary refrigeration as CO2 does not have a liquid state at normal atmospheric pressures and sublimes directly from the solid state to the gas state. Keep that keep that in mind. Right? It does not have a liquid state. It goes directly from solid to gas. It is used primarily as a cooling agent, but it is also used in fog machines at theaters for dramatic effects. Its advantages include lower temperature than that of water ice and not leaving any residue other than incidental frost from moisture in the atmosphere. It is useful in preserving foods, such as ice cream, where mechanical cooling is unavailable. Dry ice sublimes at 194.7 K, I assume that's Kelvin, negative 78.5 degrees Celsius, negative 109.2 degrees Fahrenheit at Earth's atmospheric pressure. This extreme cold makes the solid dangerous to handle without protection from frostbite injury. While generally not very toxic, the outgassing from it can cause hypercapnia, abnormally elevated carbon dioxide levels in the blood due to buildup in confined locations. It is generally we know all of the details from Jesus. We know, we know Alexander the Great, and we know all this supposed history from thousands of years ago, from BC. We have BC conversations written down somehow. But it is generally accepted that dry ice was first observed in 1835 by French inventor Adrien Jean-Pierre Theouriel, who published the first account of the substance. Let's deviate real quick and just check him out, because I'm sure it's not going to be a lot. Adrien Jean-Pierre Theourier, born, see, like this. We know that he was born February 16th, 1790, and died December 2nd, 1844. We know that. So he died shortly after this. It's generally accepted that maybe he was a French inventor who was the first person to produce solid carbon dioxide dry ice. And again, you have to think about this. Like, we're talking about the early 1800s. So what was his laboratory like? Where was the laboratory associated? Like, where was it made? And you know, how advanced was this laboratory? What was the lighting like in the laboratory? We're going to talk about dry ice here. That's got to be super cold and shit. What refrigeration units were in place there? You know, they woke up in the morning in their little, either they lived in a fucking mansion castle or they lived in a hut. And they got on their horse and they rode into town and they parked their horse where it sat for the day while they went into this, great marble structure, big, giant, huge, fucking gigantic building with a super advanced chemistry lab somehow. I mean, what are we talking about? He was born in Paris, Kingdom of France. It was the Kingdom of France at that time. I'm sure none of you know how France became France. Early years. AJP was born in Paris, France on February, not February, February, spell it out, February 16th, 1790. He was the son of a lawyer, Jean-Charles Theorier, 1756 to 1818. Again, we got some details, people. Jean-Charles achieved some notoriety. In 1786, he served as defense attorney to Count Alessandro di Cagliostro in the affair of the Queen's necklace. Oh. In this affair, a French cardinal, the Cardinal de Rohan, tried to ingratiate himself with the Queen of France, Marie Antoinette, by buying for her, through intermediaries, a diamond necklace. Gee, the cardinal did that, huh? However, the intermediaries proved to be con men who defrauded the cardinal and the jewelers. Oh, these stories are just fucking goofy. These are the goofiest stories. They don't give you details. They give you goofy stories so you think you got details. Count Cagliostro was suspected of being involved in the fraud and was arrested, but Theoriale won a verdict of not guilty. Right. In the 1700s, in the big giant court building they had. Mm-hmm. Right, and again, after they did the court, like after he got out of court, they all were like, thank you, and they walked outside, and there were like reporters there drawing pictures of them, or using the camera obscura that existed, I guess. Mm-hmm. But they all came out, and then they got on their horses and rode home to their either giant mansion, castle, estate houses that still stand to this day, or little mud huts, whatever it was. But the horses that had been sitting there all day while they were at trial. I mean, do you understand how... What are we talking about? We're talking about the 1700s. I have a hard time... Like when you look at how stupid we were in the 60s and shit. Like, how the fuck were they... 200 years earlier, they were doing the... They were just kicking ass. Again, just the whole concept of the courtroom. So the courtroom was what? This big giant marble building that was lit up by... They had court by what? Lamplight? Like, how dark would it have had to be in that fucking courtroom? It's not like they would have had big windows, right? And if they did, how did they have big windows? Guess what I'm looking up? Dry ice. We're trying to figure out the history of dry ice here, because apparently I look up I'm looking up the guy that invented it, but we're talking all about his dad and how his dad was an attorney for the Marie Antoinette affair of the Queen's necklace, where this guy, this cardinal, tried to ingratiate himself with the Queen by buying her a diamond necklace through intermediaries. The cardinal was buying the Queen a diamond necklace. And they turned out to be con men who defrauded the jeweler and the cardinal. But the count was arrested because he was thought to be involved. What does that have to do with dry ice? Shut up. He was thought to be involved, but the guy who invented dry ice, his dad was the attorney that got him off, got him a not guilty verdict. So that's included in this guy's history. Awesome. John Charles, his dad still, was also interested in science and mechanics. He was a lawyer and a science and mechanics guy too in his spare time when he wasn't lawyering at the big fucking building.
He was an engineer.
He was interested in science and mechanics. He invented
Did he cut hair too?
he invented a driving wheel to allow vehicles to cross rivers. The lawyer. The lawyer for Mary Antoinette's. You know, the guy whose son invented dry ice. He invented the wheel for the cross. Are you kidding me?
Did they already have bridges by then?
Come on.
Under the water?
A driving wheel. I don't know what a driving wheel to allow vehicles to cross rivers. What the fuck does that even mean? What vehicles are crossing rivers? What vehicles did they have in before 1800? In 1800, we're still talking about this guy's dad. This is his early life. And in 1800, he designed a smoke-eating stove, i.e. a smokeless stove. Everything has nothing to do with one another. He's inventing things to help vehicles cross over rivers. He's inventing a smokeless stove. He's a lawyer for Marie Antoinette.
He's also the inventor of the prosthetic leg.
Not yet. In 1803, he published a pamphlet on meteorites.
Astrologist, too.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. In 1812, he published a pamphlet on comets. And in 1815, he published a 4-volume work on science.
But his attorney, anyhow, his attorney is the one that...
No, he's the attorney.
Oh, he's the attorney.
Yes. This is the guy who invented dry ice's dad. I'm still learning about his dad in his early years portion.
So, yeah.
Okay, so nothing is known about where Adrien Theorier received his scientific education, though. We don't know how the fuck he knew how to do all that shit, but he did. Although his father obviously was... sorry. Adrian is the guy that invented the dry ice. So we don't know how he... We know all these things about his father, all these details from the 1700s. But how the guy that invented dry ice, and actually when, because it's generally accepted that around 1835 is when. So he was just a prodigy. Although his father obviously was interested in the subject and was all fucking inventing shit. Adrian may have been trained as a lawyer. He was also a lawyer inventor. Mention of Theorier's technical work first appeared in 1826. He developed and patented a hydrostatic lamp for lighthouses. Come on. They're like, okay, we need to start assigning inventions to people and shit to explain how we got all these things after the reset. But we don't want to have to come up with all these different histories for all these people. So why don't we just make all these people like they just thought, you know how we may have like one good idea in our lifetime? These guys were back in the 1700s. Pop. They had all that access to all the knowledge because, all you had to do was look up shit on your...
In a world that had nothing, everything would be an invention you came up with. You know what I mean? Like, I think nowadays we have so few great ideas because most everything has been done.
I disagree. And again, so the lawyer...
I mean, that doesn't explain... No. Don't get it twisted. You know? Like, if you're really good with...
But no, but that's not the case.
And then you invent, like,
A trinket?
several different types of trinkets, that explains it because, there's not a lot of stuff in the world. So, like I said, everything's a new invention and great. Can openers have been done 5 million times, you know? So that I get. But that does not account for the people that are crossing spectrums to do different things.
As the lamp burned and consumed its oil, a dense aqueous solution of zinc sulfate flowed from the solution's reservoir into the oil reservoir, displacing the oil and thereby maintaining a steady flow of oil to the lamp's wick. This guy invented, was he fucking around with malt? He was like, I'm going to invent this. So then he had all these different failure attempts at inventing it, but then he finally figured out that if he used zinc sulfate from do you understand when you invent something, there has to be like you don't get it right. They didn't get crack right the first fucking time. Wasn't some dudes in the hood like, let's just, or even better, because at least crack, there's the cocaine base, but meth. There weren't some fucking hillbillies just sitting around like looking under their fucking sink and shit like, all right, get that Sudafed and then get that butane lighter fluid, get that and get all them poisonous things. We'll put it in a fish tank, hang some strings from it. A couple days we'll have something we can smoke it real high. Okay? Who's gonna be like, all right, try it? Okay. You say this is what? I don't worry about it. I'll just smoke it. It's all good. How's it feel? Well, I think I'm going to be up for a couple of days. Cool. Is that good? Yeah, that's real good, I guess.
I don't have a choice.
I don't know.
I thought when it was 18 degrees out, it wasn't supposed to be able to snow.
By 1828, competing versions of Theurier's lamp had appeared on the market. They just appeared. And Theurier was upset by what he regarded as patent infringement. But he was a lawyer. So why did he just sue him? At the patent office, I'm sure they would have, because they probably had really good records at the patent office in 1828. At the patent office.
Which was also the post office.
That had the
courtroom.
The post office that had the pneumatic tubes that sent the mail all over the town somehow.
Yep.
Right.
Yes, it was also where they printed the monies.
Theurier's lamp was a refinement of similar hydrostatic lamps, which had been patented by the Girard brothers on December 15th, 1804, and by Mr. Vernsey on March 8th, 1810.
Oh, you know Mr. Vernsey.
Mr. Vernsey.
You know him.
What? Oh, Mr. Vernsey, right. Yeah, I used to cut his lawn. Theurier asked the French Academy of Sciences. He was like, they were having a meeting.
Yeah.
The French Academy of Sciences was.
Right.
At their French Academy of Sciences building.
Yes, you see all the buildings.
The building.
Pictures of? Yes.
And he was like, I have an appointment.
Yes.
I have a hydrostatic lamp. And those guys copied off of me. Damn it, I want my credit. It's patent infringement. Did you check the patent office? Betty. It's like
Hold on, let's write the message out and send it on the pigeon.
Betty. Well, that's weird. Feed's getting messed up. The patent clerk that was sitting there all day would okay, hang on, let me search for it and then they'd go look and they'd be like, what'd you say the number was? 126262012. Okay, hang on. Think about how crazy this is.
Pretty cynical.
So wiki pages are only fact when it's something you believe in. Yes, because I'm sitting here laughing at how factual this all is. Look at how stupid people are. If you're stupid enough to say that shit, that's who believes that. At what point did you guys hear me saying, yo, this is all clearly factual? clearly, in 1804, the patent office, like, do you not, you can't see that we're laughing at it? Are you really like, don't you have a Florida mop or something? Like, this is way above you. Way above you. I say Trump is the future because you're stupid. How? Why?
Oh my
I
God,
ask
was
you
totally gonna say, I
why.
bet you they vote for Trump too.
No, no, this is a different stupid. I mean, this is just, and again, these people act like I'm reading what Wikipedia wants you to know, and Wikipedia, like, whenever anybody talks shit about Wikipedia as a source, this is the source that they want you to refer to. It's like you saying, well, Encyclopedia Britannica, he's just getting his stuff from Encyclopedia. You can't just, like, I know anybody can just make Wikipedia pages and shit to some degree, but Wikipedia is really strict. And even if it's a page that allows you to edit, if the edit doesn't fit the narrative, it gets removed right away. Like, just one refresh and the edit will be gone. So it's like, where else are you supposed to get the information from? What would be a better source for me to get the information from that they want you to know that I'm saying is goofy and laughing about, but you seem to think I think it's true? Because apparently you can't follow like a conversation. It's really weird, right? Nevertheless, that's what it says here. Nevertheless, oh wait, no. Theorier asked the French Academy of Sciences to investigate the matter, which they did. So again, I mean, I was just sort of joking when I said it, but so the French Academy of Sciences sent their boy to the patent office to see, because they did an investigation on this.
Yes.
But Theorier didn't receive much satisfaction, as the Academy simply stated that the lamps of Theorier and his competitors were all better than those of the Girard brothers.
You snooze, you lose. Yours wasn't as good, so fuck you.
No, they're just saying, like, well, everybody made a good lamp. And he's saying that they copied off of him, so it would be like patent infringement.
Not if theirs is different.
This is so stupid. This is just such a goofy. Now, if I told you, because when I read these things, I always think about it being like, it's it's it sounds like a shitty, maybe a college level, high school level book report. No, not college. It's more of a high school level book report, and it's full of details that don't matter, right? This shit doesn't matter. These are just filler stories to make it seem like there are actual details here, but you're not going to get any details as to how somebody did something, how they invented this, what they did, where they got their sources from, what trial and error process. You're not going to get any of that. You're just going to get this kind of dumb shit. And this is supposedly, I'm still on the guy who invented dry ice's early years. We're talking about lamps and shit. Hydrostatic lamps. Okay, so wait. He continued to patent improvements to his lamp in 1828 and in 1832 and in 1835. In 1835, Theorier with Mr. Surratt, another lamp maker. That's another Mr. Is it because their names were actually Mr.? Is that what we're saying here? Because they're not blue, so I can't see who they are. Received a patent for an improved lamp, which was called a lampe autostatique. In 1837, Theorier with what the fuck is that? Yeah, you're gonna think you need your glasses, but you're seeing it right.
Missers. Missers.
MSSRS.
Missers.
Mrs. Surratt. Is that Mr. Surratt just a typo? Like
Perhaps. I don't know.
that's a weird ass. And Sorel, who the fuck is Sorel? Received a patent for an apparatus that heated liquids by using thermal expansion of the liquid and a siphon to circulate liquids between a heater and a holding tank. Muddy streets, horseback,
Don't even.
like what light sources are they using? Well, they're using the lamps that they invented to light.
Or they just put the lightning bugs in the mason jars.
So Theorier's compressor, he also invented a. By 1829, A.T. Theory had developed a machine for compressing gases. A wealthy French aristocrat Baron Montyon, 1733 to 1820. Wow, that Baron lived to be 87 years old. That's fucking amazing.
No, they only lived to be in their 40s.
Wait, yeah. Had endowed a set of prizes which were awarded annually by the French Academy. I mean, are we?
Academy had a lot of clout back then.
But like, what are we talking about? How did people know about what you did? What was the communication method that was used back? Fucking pigeons.
Forgetting about the pigeons.
One of the prizes was for mechanical improvements. Theorier entered his compressor in the competition and won the Montyon Prize of 1829, 1,500 francs. The compressor consisted of 3 cylinders. The largest cylinder had a diameter of 7.5 centimeters, and the piston in it had a stroke of 14.6 centimeters. The intermediate cylinder had a diameter of 2.25 centimeters, and its piston had a stroke of 14.6 centimeters. That's the same. The smallest cylinder had a diameter of 0.6 centimeters, and its piston had a stroke of 24.7 centimeters. The compressor was powered by a rocker arm, which in turn was powered by a team of 10 men. Oh, come on. It's a television commercial. Get the fuck out of here. This is so stupid. Oh. The compressor was powered by a rocker. The largest and intermediate cylinders were positioned symmetrically on opposite sides of the rocker arm's axis. The smallest cylinder was placed on the same side of the axis as the intermediate cylinder, but was twice as far from the rocker's arm. See, we're getting all these nonsense details, but we're not getting how the fuck did you come up with this? During one half of each cycle of the rocker arm, each piston would compress the gas within its cylinder. During the next half cycle, the gas would be transferred, presumably through a check valve. Presumably. We don't have that detail. That detail was left out of the narrative when they were trying to give it to us. Isn't that convenient? That one little like sort of key piece. Well, it's presumably. Why wouldn't they know that? You know me, I'm eating nuts. Because I'm nuts, I am what I eat, right? Dude, you're gonna sneeze. The next cylinder to be compressed further. The compressor was capable of producing a pressure of 1,000 atmospheres. So this is how they were able to build submarines back then that could go underwater 150 feet and sit there for blah, 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 blah. Diorier subsequently made several improvements to his compressor. One problem with his original compressor was that the effort that was required to compress the gas was the greatest at the bottom of the piston stroke, which was at which point the gas's pressure was greatest. Diorier solved this problem by using a device that watchmakers use to allow a watch's mainspring to exert a constant torque as the mainspring unwound and its force became weaker. Wouldn't it be interesting to learn how watches were invented? Alright, I don't give a shit anymore. Apparatus for producing liquid carbon dioxide. Oh, here we go. Maresca and Donnie's version, 1845, of AJP. They call him AJP too. Diorier's apparatus for making liquid carbon dioxide, showing the generator on the right and the receptacle on the left. Oh, shut the fuck up. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? In 1834, Diorier sent the French Academy of Sciences a letter which he described experiments with liquid carbon dioxide, which had been produced by a new apparatus by means of which he, quote, he obtained by chemical means in a few moments a liter of liquefied carbonic acid, i.e., carbonic or carbon dioxide. He obtained by chemical means and in a few moments a liter of liquid carbon dioxide or liquefied. That doesn't say anything. Fiorier's original apparatus for liquefying carbon dioxide used tanks made of cast iron. So he went to the cast iron maker and was like, "Hey, I invented this thing. I need you to make it." And the cast iron maker was like, "Yeah, no problem. I'll make it right the first time. And then you can use it to do what you do, which is make." Okay. However, cast iron is brittle, and so there was a danger that such a tank might rupture under pressure. The apparatus could be dangerous. On December 30th, 1840, Osman Hervey, who prepared scientific demonstrations for lectures at the School of Pharmacy in Paris. Jesus Christ. You guys hear what I'm saying to you? In 1840, the School of Pharmacy. Of course, it's not, there's no blue, so I can't go see what it is. But just think about it, man. The lectures, the students come in and they come sit down at their desks, and again, a lamp lit room is going to be dark, and they're doing lectures on using these carbon dioxide tanks, and I mean, what the fuck are we talking about? I'm supposed to think that we were like super basic back then. And when you try to look up and try to, ascertain how people did stuff, how did they come up with any of it? What's the process like? There is no documentation, just like there's no pictures of construction. Long after we were very capable of taking, photographs, like the 80s, photographs sort of start appearing. And those photographs, the oldest pictures of whatever city you're talking about, the very oldest pictures of that city show the city virtually there, or at least a city is there. Maybe it hadn't been bombed yet, but a large city is there, and it's virtually empty. And this phenomenon exists all over the place. And you have to ask, like, I mean, how do you do that? How do you take a picture and there's no people? There's no horses, there's no fruit stands, there's no wagons. Nothing. There's no people walking around. No. There's a long exposure. No, they have pictures of people with long exposures. You know, supposedly pictures of armies marching and shit. Uh, he was doing lectures at the pharmacy at the School of Pharmacy in Paris. Just imagine what School of Pharmacy looked like. And when was it built? Who built it? How'd they build it? It's weird to me that those kind of questions don't intrigue you. You know, like how is it not intriguing to think how did they do it? How did they build such amazing shit? So consistently, so flawlessly, so well that it stays, it's, you know, if it hadn't been knocked down, it would still be standing today. He was at the pharmacy school in Paris, was operating one of Theorier's machines when the gas generating cylinder exploded. Shrapnel broke Hervey's legs, one of which had to be amputated. He died of infection a few days later. He died of infection a few days later? It's like, so again, so we're those people that were capable of building these machines and doing lectures in these giant schools and all that other shit. But were we able to keep up on infections and shit? Were infections? You know, we couldn't do that. I mean, he was probably in the hospital, right? Didn't they have a hospital? To reduce the danger of explosion, the cast iron was replaced with wrought iron. By 1845, the Belgian chemist Daniel Joseph Benoit Maresca, 1803 to 1858, and Francois Marie Louis Dany, 1822 to 1896, have replaced the iron with copper and lead. A description of the apparatus and its operation was provided by the French chemist Charles Adolphe Wurtz. See, that's weird. We don't have any actual evidence that this ever existed, huh? None of them survived. The apparatus is composed of a generator and a receptacle. The generator is a cylindrical lead boiler covered with red copper and reinforced with pieces of forged iron. The capacity of this boiler is 6 to 7 liters. The generator is suspended between the 2 points of a cast iron base. The receptacle is formed from a vessel of lead containing a cylinder of copper surrounded by rings of iron. The opening of the generator is sealed by a screw cap, pierced along its, i.e. the cap's axis, and fitted with a valve. The receptacle likewise bears an opening on its upper edge. One inserts this opening. Oh, Jesus Christ. I do not. Wow, that's long. I don't care. Theorier was not the first person to liquefy carbon dioxide. Oh, he wasn't? Michael Faraday had liquefied it in 1823. However, with an ample and reliable supply of liquid carbon dioxide, Theorier was able to observe and measure its properties, such as its vapor density and its extraordinary rate of expansion with temperature under a wide range of conditions. So, Michael Faraday is this whole other thing. Let's see. Michael Faraday was an English physicist and chemist who contributed to the study of electromagnetism and electrochemistry, 1791 to 1867. His main discoveries include the principles underlying electromagnetic induction diamagnetism, and electrolysis. Jesus. Although Faraday received little formal education, so again, it's just one of these things where he just figured it out. As a self made man, he was one of the most influential scientists in history. That just doesn't make any sense, guys. It was by his research on the magnetic field around a conductor carrying a direct current that Faraday established the concept of the electromagnetic field in physics. Faraday also established that magnetism could affect rays of light and that there was an underlying relationship between the two phenomena. He similarly discovered the principles of electromagnetic induction, diamagnetism, diamagnetic, magnetism, diamagnetism, and the laws of electrolysis. His inventions of electromagnetic rotary devices formed the foundation of electric motor technology, and it was largely due to his efforts that electricity became practical for use in technology. There you go, Faraday in 1850. A nice picture of him in 1850, an actual picture. Let's see, where's his list of inventions? Oh, we don't have a list of inventions. No, oh, known for describing Faraday's waves, discovering benzene, discovering the Faraday effect, discovering Faraday's laws of induction, discovering magnetic separation, discovering regulation, formulating Faraday's laws of electrolysis, inventing absorption refrigeration, inventing the Faraday cage, inventing the Faraday cup, inventing the homopolar generator, inventing the homopolar motor, performing Faraday's ice pail experiment, proposing Faraday paradox in electrochemistry. Wow, that is amazing. Absorption refrigeration was invented by Michael Faraday in 1821, even though the basis of artificial modern refrigeration dates back to 1748 with William Cullen's experiments. Now we're going back even further. You see how you keep getting this shit? Instead of telling us how they did it, they just say, "Oh, it was based on this guy's stuff," and you're like, "Wait, how does somebody keep getting credited with inventing something when it's like, well, they didn't really invent it?" Absorption is sometimes referred to as solid sorption. Solid sorption. Solid sorption. It is very similar to absorption refrigeration. Note that the second letter is different. To absorption. What? Okay. Adsorption. Adsorption is what it was. Adsorption is sometimes referred to as solid sorption. Okay. So it's very similar to absorption, refrigeration. The difference is that adsorption, refrigeration, in adsorption, refrigeration, the refrigerant or absorbent vapor molecules absorb onto the surface of a solid instead of dissolving into a liquid. In adsorption, in an adsorption system, the adsorbs the refrigerant vapor into a solid. It adsorbs it. It's not absorbs it. It's absorbs it. What's up? Thank you, sir. Yep. Okay. Okay. An absorption system, an absorber absorbs refrigerant vapor into a liquid. Oh, yeah, that makes sense, right? In an adsorption and adsorption. One adsorbs it and the other one absorbs it. Doesn't that make all the sense? Now you don't have any more questions about it, do you? Because if you have any more questions, you're a conspiracy theorist. If you have any more questions, then you're a bad person. You're a bad person. Adsorbs and absorbs. I've never heard anybody talk about an adsorption. Adsorption refrigeration also includes a generation process where refrigerant vapor molecules desorb from the solid. Okay. Okay. In this process, there is no use for CFCs or ammonia. The thermally driven cooling process is environmentally friendly. So if we've had this whole time, why hasn't it evolved to the point where that's what we use instead of the toxic bad one? Doesn't that seem a little weird? The characteristics of the adsorbent refrigerant pair is crucial in determining the system performance of an adsorption refrigeration system. God, this is nuts. This guy's the epitome of I did my own research, right? Instead of being like, yeah, I kind of remember what I was told in school, but I can't actually argue anything, so I just say stupid shit. Yeah. If it's between those two things, I'm going to go with my version. I appreciate you doing yours, though. I do. I don't want you guys to ever think I don't appreciate the fact that you're this stupid and you love proving it. Like, you seriously make everything easier for me. Okay. So, the typical system performance indicators for an adsorption refrigeration are the coefficient of performance and the specific cooling effect. Oh, yeah? Is she puking? Okay. Yeah, let her do her thing. Just don't let her do it on something. Have her... Where? You can't move her? Is she on a shoe or something? So put her on the floor, dude. So now there's puke? Hey, oh, come on. Here, it's okay. Oh, yeah, that's for mom. Not doing that one. Don't let the dogs come in here. Where'd she go? The refrigerants used in absorption systems are ammonia, water, or menthol, etc., which all experience phase changes between the vapor and liquid states. The same as in vapor compression refrigeration. Where is it?
Now it's on the blackboard.
Okay. Oh, oops, I grabbed the wrong phone. All right, let's see. The refrigerants used are ammonia, water, or menthol, etc., which experience phase changes between the vapor and liquid state. The same as in vapor compression refrigeration, while the adsorbent is a solid such as silica gel, activated carbon, or zeolite, for example, an adsorption refrigeration device with active carbon fiber as the adsorbent and ammonia as refrigerant was designed. The adsorption refrigeration has been extensively researched in recent years because the technology is often noiseless, non-corrosive, and environmentally friendly. So again, how did the other one take off? Like, just think about that. That's stupid. What would be the benefit to the toxic, yucky one? And all this is going to be like, and all this is based on this guy's work, of which we don't really have any records of, but we know he did it. Remember, we were in like the 18 somethings, so. All right, let's see. The heat source for adsorption refrigeration can be fossil fuel, biomass fuel, nuclear fission, geothermal energy, waste heat, or solar thermal energy. Adsorption refrigerators are available in the marketplace and are mainly used to produce chilled water from waste heat. Gas adsorption heat pumps are not currently available in the UK but are just being introduced in Europe as small water or ground source packaged units that provide domestic low temperature space heating. I mean, it still doesn't, there's no, there's a lot of details given, right? But this is the history. So how did this get to be here? Where did this technology just sort of appear from? How did anybody figure this out? I just think we give too much credit to the yada yada. We give too much credit to the that, oh well, they just did it because they're just science and they just did it. Science just does things. And I think there's no and that's it. That's the only. When I looked up adsorption refrigeration, that's all you get. You get some references, but that's it. So we were at Faraday, and this was just the guy, and this is just another one of these same sort of stories that they. Let's go with first production of dry ice. At the October 12th, 1835 meeting of the French Academy of Sciences, a letter from Adrien Theorier was read in which he stated that he had solidified carbon dioxide. Original. I don't want to read the original translation. Yes, you want me to read the original? Si Léon dirige ou jet d'acide carbonique dans littérature d'une petite folie. Oh God, that sounds. Translation: if one directs a jet of liquid carbonic acid, i.e., carbon dioxide. Well, carbonic acid and carbon dioxide, those are different terms. Any chance you want to finish this up for me?
We need mangoes, not strawberries.
Okay, yep.
What?
Mom, you put your shoes on the cute.
Oh man, you didn't tell her?
She just walked
Cat just puked. I cleaned up 2 portions of it, but there's more. Oh.
Put your shoes on it.
Well, that's your fault. How was she supposed to know? Oh. Breakout cards dropped in your video. Check that one. Did you hear they shut down TikTok?
Oh, yeah.
But you know what's coming back, Dad?
MySpace.
No, me though. Or whatever it's called.
I don't know what that is.
It's basically where a bunch of child predators are there.
Oh. Well, at least we know.
It's Amiibo or Amiibo or something like that.
I'm sure a lot of my audience knows.
Probably.
All right. Into the interior of a small glass vial. It quickly fills and almost completely. Shit. And almost completely with a material that is white, powdery, fluffy, which adheres strongly to the walls of the vial, in which one can remove only by breaking the bottle. What is particularly interesting about Theorier's discovery of dry ice is that he did not realize that he had solidified carbon dioxide until a group of scientists from the French Academy of Sciences explained to him what he had accomplished. How the fuck did they do? So, it's a good thing he had the carbon dioxide jets available. Translation: Mr. Thenard, i.e., French chemist Louis Jacques Thenard, 1777 to 1857, noted that Mr. Theorier had still not imagined at the time of the visit of commissioners of the Academy that the whitest substance obtained by him was solid carbonic acid. This fact, he says, was recognized and noted by the committee. It is they who submitted the acid to most of the experiments cited by the author. It is they who submitted the acid. This is so weird. Fiore thought that the liquid carbon dioxide had caused water vapor in the air to freeze on the vial. He was puzzled when the snow sublimated instead of melting. Theorier reported to the French Academy of Sciences that properties of solid carbon dioxide. He reported to the French Academy of Sciences the properties of solid carbon dioxide. News of Theorier's achievement was published not only within France, but in Germany, Britain, and the United States. What was it published in? The national paper, the what? Oh, I bet you Manny works on submarines. The French positive Auguste Comte. The French positivist. What's a positivist? Positivism is a philosophical school that holds that all genuine knowledge is either true by definition or positive, meaning a posteriori facts derived by reason and logic from sensory experience. Other ways of knowing, such as intuition, introspection, and other religious faiths, are rejected and considered meaningless. Oh, I like this.
On the same day. Yeah, but she lied to her fiance about where she was going. What is that? Split personality? No, dual life. It's a big difference. She's the same person, whether she's going by Melissa.
Although the positivist approach has been a recurrent theme in the history of Western thought, modern positivism was first articulated in the early 19th century by Auguste Comte. Around the same time, First time, it's been there for a long time, but the first guy to talk about it, like, talk about it.
Yeah. Fear and guilt with two peas in a pod, kids.
First guy to document it. He was so impressed by Theorier's investigations of gases that he devoted the 12th day of the ninth month of his positivist calendar to British chemist John Dalton and to Theorier.
She had a diary.
That is so stupid.
I'd like to see it. It would help me complete my profile, that's for sure.
So they had a different calendar, huh? Damn positivists and their positive calendar. When dry ice was mixed with diethyl ether, it was called Theorier's mixture, presumably since Theorier had noted in 1835 that the mixture of liquid carbon dioxide and ether produced extreme cold when sprayed on objects. It was subsequently found that under reduced pressure, temperatures as low as minus 130 Celsius could be maintained. These mixtures, dry ice baths, could then be used to maintain low temperatures during experiments. I mean, it's just silly.
I'll go look again. Christine,
He would have burned the shit out of his hands doing that. Like, what the fuck? Unfortunately, in almost all of his technical articles, Adrien Theorier gave his name simply as Theorier. Similarly, whenever others referred to him in technical articles, his name was also given as only Theorier. This impeded efforts by scholars to identify him subsequently. But we know, like, his father did this, blah, 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 for the queen, and the this, that, and the other. But nope, there's this little loophole in this that makes it so a lack of explanation makes sense then, huh? The confusion when compounded with Paul Thenard, or when Paul Thenard wrote a biography of his father, Louis Thenard, the chemist who explained to Theorier in 1935 that his snow was actually solidified carbon dioxide. In a footnote in that biography, Paul Thenard identified the Theorier who discovered dry ice as Charles Saint Ange Theorier, a student at the École Polytechnique in the class of 1815. Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, it just all doesn't make sense to me. This mistaken identification was mentioned by Duane H.D. Roller, a graduate student at Harvard, in a paper that was published in 1952. Only like 150 years later. Consequently, many sources claim that Charles Saint Ange Theorier discovered dry ice. Oh, well, those sources are wrong, see? During the 1960s, Madeleine Am, Am, Amberi Farragut, a student or a scholar in France, gotta love that. Must be nice to be a scholar. I'm a scholar. Was trying to identify the person who served as the model for a mad scientist character, Balthazar Calais, in honor de blah blah novel by The Quest of the Absolute. Her research suggested that Calais was inspired in part by Adrien Jean Perret Theorier. So I mean, it's all bullshit. So the idea that he actually did this wasn't really even didn't really know, or we didn't know this until almost 100 years later that we finally were like, oh yeah, this guy did it. It's like how the Bible, up until the convenient finding of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the earliest known biblical texts were from the 900s. So, that first 900 years was just a game of telephone. Same sort of thing here. Like, Nobody really talked about it. Nobody knew it was him until way later. And everybody thought it was somebody else. And all the literature and everything that they had, because, that shit, they just had it. And the database, what was the database in which they quoted all of their information from? Like, to think about somebody compiling a list of this or a history of that, where would they go to get that? That Theorie, in 2003, Just Mertens, a Dutch historian of science, had verified many of the findings that Miss Farragut had made about Theorie. That Theorie is actually Adrien Jean Pierre Theorie is proved by French government documents, especially patents. Yeah. See, again, it's like it's not known. You can think, like, at first they'll give you a bunch of stories and a bunch of details that don't matter. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty stuff, the truth behind it, we just don't know. His 1826 patent for a hydrostatic lamp lists his name as Theorie Adrien Jean Pierre of Paris. His 1831 patent for a gas compressor also lists his name as Theorie Adrien Jean Pierre and describes him as an employee of the administration depost, i.e., the post office. What was the post office back then? Think about how the post office worked. And then when you do look into it, you find out that it's actually like a lot of these places, I think France is one of them, had pneumatic tubes to deliver the mail all over the city. How the fuck did they have that? How would pneumatic tubes, how would you put a piece of paper into a tube and it would know which place to take it to? Uh, In 1832, the Bulletin of Laws of the Kingdom of France also lists him as Theorie Adrien Jean Pierre and as an employee of the post office who resided at number 21 on the Palace Vendôme in Paris. Well, there we go again with those details that don't matter. And as the inventor of a gas compressor. In 1835, the government bulletin La France Industrielle, I don't know how to say it, lists him as Theorie Adrien Jean Pierre, residing at number 4 on the Rue de Bouilly in Paris as the recipient of a patent for a hydrostatic lamp. In 1836, the London Journal of Arts and Sciences and Repertory of Patents Repertory of Patent Inventions lists him by his full name as the recipient of a patent for a hydrostatic lamp. That's it. That's all you're gonna get. That's all I get for Adrien Theorie. Apparatus. We already read the apparatus. So that's me trying to find out the history of dry ice. So now I'm just gonna go to actual dry ice, and that's where I started. And we went with who they said. So we went to history, and it's generally accepted that dry ice was first observed in 1835 by French inventor Adrien Jean Pierre Theorie, 1790 to 1840, who published the first account of the substance as snow in a glass. In his experiments, he noted that when opening the lid of a large cylinder containing liquid carbon dioxide, most of the liquid carbon dioxide quickly evaporated. The idea that they had cylinders full of liquid carbon dioxide, when you know that in order to have liquid carbon dioxide, it has to be at a specific pressure and under specific temperatures and shit. To think that, how are they able to, how did they figure that out all the way back then? How many different experiments failed before they figured out the right method, the right recipe? Like, they make it sound like all these people that had, I mean, they had nothing. They didn't have grocery stores. They didn't have hardware stores. The products that you needed, where would they get them from? The beakers, the glass, the this, that, and the other. Where were they getting all their supplies from? Where was he getting all of this liquid carbon dioxide to be able to experiment with it to begin with? This left only solid dry ice in the container. So when most of the shit evaporates, then dry ice is then created? That seems weird. In 1924, Thomas B. Slate applied for a U.S. patent to sell dry ice commercially. Wow, we sure did jump there. That was a huge yada yada. That's 100 years. 90 years. We go from 35 to 24. 1835 to 1924. Suddenly now there's a new, like that's all they tell us? Thomas B. Slate applied for a U.S. patent to sell dry ice commercially. Subsequently, he became the first to make dry ice successfully in an industry. In 1925, this solid form of CO2 was trademarked by the Dry Ice Corporation of America as dry ice, leading to its common name. The same year, the Dry Ice Company sold the substance commercially for the first time, marketing it for refrigeration purposes. So basically, it wasn't available until 1925. Where else were people getting it from? If the company didn't make it, dry ice is easily manufactured. The most common industrial method for manufacturing dry ice starts with gas having a high concentration of carbon dioxide. Such gases can be a byproduct of another process, such as producing ammonia. Oh shit, it's cold. Such as producing ammonia from nitrogen and natural gas. Oh yeah, it's Sunday. And natural gas, oil refinery activities, or large-scale fermentation. Second, the carbon dioxide-rich gas is pressurized and refrigerated until it liquefies. How did you refrigerate it? I thought it was used for refrigeration. So if dry ice is used for refrigeration, but it has to be, you have to use refrigeration to create it in the first place. How does that work? Sweetheart, I'm stupid. I need some help.
You have to wait a minute.
Can I just read it to you?
Hold on. Yeah. What, Nick?
All right.
Yes, we heard. Go ahead.
Okay. Dry ice is easily manufactured. The most common industrial method for manufacturing dry ice starts with gas having a high concentration of carbon dioxide. Such gases can be a byproduct of another process, such as producing ammonia from nitrogen and natural gas, oil refinery activities, or large-scale fermentation. Second, the carbon dioxide-rich gas is pressurized and refrigerated until it liquefies. How do you refrigerate something? Like, dry ice is used as the refrigerant, especially back in the day. How did they refrigerate the gas to create dry ice that needed to be refrigerated to, you know what I mean? Like, come on, be better. I mean, what are they using as the coolant? What's the refrigerant that allows them to make the thing that makes the cool thing? Next, the pressure is reduced. When this occurs, some liquid carbon dioxide vaporizes, causing a rapid lowering of temperature of the remaining liquid. As a result, the extreme cold causes the liquid to solidify into a snow-like consistency. Finally, the snow-like carbon dioxide is compressed into small pellets or larger blocks of dry ice. I mean, I'd have to see it, I guess. Dry ice is typically produced in three standard form: large blocks, small, cylindrical, high surface to volume pellets that float on oil or water and do not stick to skin because of their high radii of curvature. Tiny dry ice pellets are used primarily for dry ice blasting. Dry ice blasting is where dry ice, the solid form, is accelerated in a pressurized airstream and directed at a surface in order to clean it. Okay. Quick freezing, firefighting, oil solidifying, and having been found to be safe for experimentation by middle school students wearing appropriate personal protective equipment such as gloves and safety glasses. A standard block weighing approximately 66 pounds, covered in a taped paper wrapping, is most common. These are commonly used in shipping because they sublime relatively slowly due to a low ratio of surface volume, area to volume. Pellets are around 1 centimeter in diameter and can be bagged easily. This form is suited to small scale use, for example, at grocery stores and laboratories. Dry ice is also produced as a byproduct of cryogenic air separation, an industry primarily concerned with manufacturing extremely cold liquids such as liquid nitrogen and liquid oxygen. In this process, carbon dioxide liquefies or freezes at a far higher temperature compared to that needed to liquefy nitrogen and oxygen. The carbon dioxide must be removed during the process to prevent dry ice from fouling the experiment, and once separated, can be processed into commercial dry ice in a manner similar to the described above.
I'm not lying.
Then tell me who she is.
I told you,
Oh, Jesus.
Apartment is nobody?
I mean, it's just,
come on, this is dangerous.
it's so fucking weird. It seems like, again, I'd love to know what they used to cool, refrigerate the liquid, the carbon dioxide to the point where it turned into liquid to begin with. How did they do that back in the 18 somethings? And then, like, where was it produced? This dry ice company, right? Let's see. Dry ice. Where's the fucking? Oh, yeah, that's why I didn't. The Dry Ice Corporation of America isn't blue.
That guy was right. He warned them. See,
I can't see what it is. Let's see if I can find it. Dry Ice Corporation. Dry Ice Corp. So, Dry Ice Corp Of course, I mean, you click on it, and that's what you see. Regional supplier of dry ice products and dry ice services, Dry Ice Corp. Local service, regional supply strength, consumer supply strength, customized packaging, consumer distribution. Contact us today for your dry ice needs. Contact us. Buy dry ice now. E-commerce shipping. Our supply chain is less ethanol dependent. During a CO2 shortage, steady supply and risk mitigation are critical to your business. Many dry ice vendors rely on ethanol plants, which are currently operating at 50% capacity with no clear end in sight. Dun dun dun.
Didn't say anything. I can hear your inner voice.
With 2 local manufacturing plants less sensitive to ethanol constraints and 5 distribution branches, Dry Ice Corp lets you focus on your business and not worry about your next dry ice delivery. About us. We partner with several of the world's largest industrial gas companies that provide CO2 and dry ice products to us for further distribution by our experienced delivery personnel from our fleet of over 100 delivery vehicles. Our supply partners have dry ice manufacturing plants strategically located throughout the Northeast. These industrial gas companies provide reliable sources of CO2 from their vast network of CO2 sources and distribution points located throughout the U.S. There are only 3 dry ice manufacturing plants located in the Northeast, and we are supplied the majority of our dry ice products from these manufacturing facilities. I mean, what do you think the chances of me getting a good history on this company are? There's literally nothing. Like, seems strange. There's not a history page. Mm, about us.
Jogging was supposed to be good for you.
New supplier. We partner with him. Yeah. Only 3 dry. Yep. That's it. Especially. Yep.
I could have a discussion with a friend. Saw the guy floating. Called 911 right away. Where's your car now? My friend had to go to work. Does he have a business card?
I mean, it's just like
Details?
it's like this is what we do. This is what we do. But
Yeah,
there's no history.
that's actually mine.
Uh, blog.
Here's where we found the broken headlight. That's the impact point.
I wonder how far down the blog goes.
Discovery point, 52 feet between.
Page 49.
Based on Corporal Jenkins' weight and the distance he flew upon impact, we think the vehicle was traveling about 60 miles an hour. He was falling
Dry ice and cooking. What you should know.
73 is in a valley that's a microclimate for missiles.
Read more.
Have reflective clothing on, but even in the fog, how do you fly into someone and not slow down?
I just want to see when this was created. Sources. It's weird that there's no date on the blog. Why would your blog not have a date?
Kayla's been arrested.
This is Cassie. She never really paid attention to her credit score. Until she got credit karma and used her scores to score more. Like a great
It's strange. So now I'm at this Cook's info page, but and it's there's a thing about dry ice, but that's not it. Oh well, I tried, and I'm done. Hope you have a great day. Oh shit. Hope you have a great day, and go watch Hollywoodism, because it's the smoking gun that will tell you exactly who controls your narrative. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope, more than anything else, I hope you pedos kill yourself.